Alright, hey everybody. I decided to remove my ugly mug from the screen. There's no point in looking at me anyway. That and my webcam's really crappy. And man, do I photograph poorly. I'm not as old or as ugly as I look on that stream, I guarantee you. Oh well, we'll see what happens. I'll see if I can get a better webcam at some point. Do a little work to make that look better. So, late night stream. Just felt like doing one, so what the heck. Probably turn that music down a bit. There we go. Hopefully it's better. I noticed the last stream was the engine sounds and the music and all that was a little loud compared to my voice, so you probably had a hard time hearing me at some point, especially when I'm mumbling. So, we'll see if this is better. All right, yeah, so it's late night stream. There's a couple airports I've always wanted to fly out of and into for different reasons. Salt Lake City, because it's one of the last Mr. X airports that I have not been to and not used. So here we are in Salt Lake City. And I've always wanted to fly into Denver, Mile High City, Denver Broncos, my buddy's favorite team. Just always wanted to fly into Denver. It's an interesting airport, very high altitude, should be a different landing. I'm assuming, I don't know. I did download a free version of the airport, so we'll see how that looks. I do not have ortho, so it'll be default XPlane scenery. It's not terrible. You know, in between the airports, obviously. So we're gonna fly the A320 again. I promise we'll be switching back to Boeing soon once I get the 737 stable. Right now it seems to crash and do weird things all the time, so we'll see how that goes. And we'll probably get into the CRJ sooner than later. I just haven't fully committed myself to do that yet, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, and when we're en route, I want to have a chat about XPlane versus FSX. An adult conversation, obviously. We're not just going to bash. There's pros and cons to each sim. I've traditionally always been an FSX guy, or P3D, or Steam Edition, or whatever you want to, whatever flavor of FSX you want to talk about. But they're all relatively similar. Yeah, I'm flying XPlane now, and we'll talk about why, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that I miss from FSX. But that's the conversation I'm going to have en route. This flight should be somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour and a half. So we'll see how that goes. And without further ado, let's get this thing started. All right, so let's jump into the plane and get things started. Batteries, APU. We'll line these guys up, get that process started. There we go, 7 minutes to go. And wait for the APU to kick in so we can look at our screens. Nothing's on. Oh. Did I not hit that guy? That's weird. My mouse isn't working over that guy. What the hell's going on? Start is available. There we go. Get that thing started. I was wondering what was going on there. All right, let's give the APU a few seconds to start here. Seems to be a little faster than the Boeings. Shouldn't be too bad. All right, there we go. And it's kicked in. Right on. Okay, so no ATC tonight. Nobody's online here, so no bother. No point in plugging in unless somebody wants to fly with me. Hey, Roger. How's it going, buddy? Welcome aboard. So we're going to be flying at 35,000 feet, so that's what we'll set for our initial right there. Okay, so let's get this started. We're going from KSLC and we're going to KDEN. Boom. Boom. Cost index will do 75 today. And flight number as always, CVA. If I can actually click, CVA 987. All right. Let's go to the flight plan page. From KSLC, we are going to depart runway 35. The departure is going to be ensign 5. CHE is the transition. Get that into the flight plan. And the approach into Denver oops. Star is French 3. Yeah, we got the wrong one in there. Return. Erase. Okay, we'll do that again. I accidentally clicked on the wrong one. I was impatient waiting for KDEN to load. Look how long it takes. It's crazy. There we go. We're going to go ILS 16 right. And French 3 is our approach. We're not going to do a VIA. I'll probably regret that. So be it. Drop it in. And we have a disco. So between CHE and French will be, let's take a look at what they did. Let's see what SimBrief says. French is pretty far out, so I think that should be fine. Yeah, we can go direct, so we'll just we're just gonna get rid of that disco. Yeah, that should be just fine. It's a pretty much straight line anyway. There is looks like a couple of waypoints between. Oh no, there's only one between French and Che. There's only one, and it's a straight line, and it's Daryl. Oh well, that's fine. So pretty simple flight plan. There's a lot of points in it, but it's really simple. All right, so now that we have the plan in, let's put in our cruise flight altitude 350. 350. All right. Fuel. We didn't get the fuel going yet. Let's bring in the fuel truck. Wow, our FPS is really low. I wonder what's going on. I'm gonna take a peek at my task manager and see what's running. Something's chewing up the CPU. Chrome. All right, we're gonna turn off the sound. See what happens there. See if things get better. I got a few tabs open that I can remove. Okay, how's that doing? It's a little better. Knox. Knox is running. Let's turn you off. Go away. Knox player, go away. How's that? That's better. At least the FPS is in the green now. All right, so sorry about that, guys. Fuel. We need about 5,700, so we're going to go 55 because we always have a lot extra. I don't plan on missing our primary. So let's get that gas in there. I don't plan on missing our primary. That's only 200 pounds difference anywhere, 200 kilograms difference in the fuel. Jesus, that was quick. So dismiss the fuel truck, and we're good to go. So now we can calculate our zero fuel weight, and we can go to the perf page. Boom, 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 and we're gonna do an F40 today. Oops, wrong one. This one. All right, let's take a look at our load. 0 up, that's fine. So we don't have to change that. We'll go flaps 2 for the takeoff. And let's take a look. The flight plan's good. The init page is good. And our perf page is good. So that's done. All right. We have 1 minute left on our alignment. We do need some fuel pumps running. Probably should have turned those on a little bit earlier. We'll get the packs going, get some bleed air, get some air conditioning going until we get moving here. 0 for the alignment, which is awesome. Let's turn on the radios, and yeah, that's it for now. That's good for now. We can do a pushback and start, assuming this guy's done. Maybe that means like less than a minute. We'll give it another 30 seconds here. Actually, it'll probably take us that long to get the pushback planned and everything anyway, so we might as well do that. Plan the pushback. We are gonna go. We're gonna go this way. We're gonna be taking off on runway 35, and I believe that's down that direction. So we will go right there. Right on. Okay, let's just make sure. So we're gonna zoom out a little bit and come down this end of the runway. That should be, oh, it's 34 right. Where's 35? Must be over here. Whoa, too far, too far. Can't read. That must be 35 right there. Okay, so we're gonna taxi down this way. And just before we come across or head down this too far that way, we're gonna turn down here and head down this direction, and we'll take off that way right there. 34 right would have been better. Oh well. 35 it is. That's what the flight plan calls for. All right, so let's check on the alignment. It is aligned. We're good to go. Okay, call in the backup guy. The pusher backer guy. How's he doing? Which one did we get today? We got the white guy. All right. Seems to be fairly standard for the 320. Other planes, you get the little red guy. And if you fly in other countries, he talks with an accent, a really bad accent. All right, let's set up our altimeter. Update. 29908. There we go. Let's do our before start checklist. I guess I better tell the people to sit down. I missed it. What did he say? Say it again. All right. What's this guy doing? Waiting for me to take the parking brake off, I'm guessing. There we go. All right, so we got to turn off the packs. And ignition. And for some reason our... There we go. All right, fire it up. Airbuses are so easy. You don't have to kick in fuel. You don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. It just kind of handles it. But it's kind of creepy because, like, what are the chances of getting a hot start if everything's just managed by the computer? A little creepy. Turn up the engines a little bit so everybody gets to hear. Hopefully it's not too loud. All right, that's stable. Engine number one. Nice mountains in the distance, both sides. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Wow, Salt Lake City's kind of a... I don't know if this is one of Mr. X's better airports or not. It's looking kind of drab. Auto gates weren't doing anything either. Huh. All right. How's our engines? Stable and good. So let's drop our flaps while we're sitting here.
Flaps 1, flaps 2.
And let's get ready to taxi.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Park brake on.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
All right, standing by. Might as well set the brakes and the brake fans and get our packs back on. Turn off our APU bleed and we'll leave the APU running and we'll get our taxi lights on as soon as we tell him to go away.
After start checklist. Anti-ice as required. ECAM status. Check. Pitch trim. 0. Decimal. 0. Down. Rudder trim. 0. APU set on. Ground crew. Clear. Anti-skid and nose wheel steering.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. Well, see you next time and have a safe flight.
All right. Waiting for him to drive out and give us the thumbs up. Should have the gear pin in his hand. There he goes. Perfect. Wait for him to give us the thumbs up and look at his hand. There's the gear pin. Right on. Let's get out of here. Uh-oh. My throttles aren't working. I must have unplugged it. Just a second, folks. Alright, that's why my spoiler lever wasn't working earlier. A little confused by that. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it's working now.
Spoilers armed.
A little bit of gas. Parking brake. Damn it. Come on, Airbus. Yeah! Get moving. There's a Delta. It looks like a MD. Alright, let's do another checklist while we're cruising here. I don't want to do flight controls.
Before takeoff checklist. Flight controls. It is not okay, sir. It is not check.
Alright,
Flight
fine.
control check. Full up.
Full up.
Check. Full down. Check. Neutral. Check. Full left. Check. Full right. Check. Neutral. Check. Press pedals, disconnect push button.
Okay. Slow down here for a second. Because it's going to be really awkward. Okay, go.
Check. Pedal full left. Check. Pedal full right. Check. Neutral. Check. Press pedals, disconnect push button. Check. Checklist completed. Flight controls.
Good.
Flight instruments. Check. Briefing. Confirm. Flap settings config. Flaps 2. V1. 1. 2. 3. V rotate. 1. 2. 8. V2. 1. 4. 4. ATC. Set. ECAM memo. No blue. Checklist down to the line. Completed. If you're ready to continue below the line, click it again. Flight control check. Full up. Check. Full down. Check. Neutral. Check. Full left. Check. Full right. Check. Neutral. Check. Press pedals, disconnect push.
Oh, they're making me do it again? Why?
Check. Pedal full left. Check. Pedal full right. Check. Neutral. Check. Press pedals, disconnect push button. Check. Checklist completed.
Wow, that was rough.
Cabin crew, advised. Engine mode selector. It is not okay, sir. It is not set normal as where required.
Engine mode selector. Okay.
Before takeoff checklist. Flight controls. Check. Flight instruments. Check. Briefing. Confirm. Flap settings configured. Flaps 2. V1. 1. 2. 3. V rotate. 1. 2. 8. V2. 1. 4. 4. Flex temperature. 4. 0. ATC. Set. ECAM memo. No blue. Checklist down to the line. Completed. If you're ready to continue below the line, click it again. Cabin crew, advised. Engine mode selector. It is not okay, sir. It is not set normal as where required.
Engine mode selector, that's a new one. I'm not sure what that is. Engine mode selector. Ha! I'll have to read the manual on that one. That one's new for me. I usually skip that set of checklists anyway, but... Alright, we are crossing a runway here. So let's take a peek, make sure it's clear.
3, 4.
It is. We are motoring. That's good. Alright. Yeah, right to the end. That's our runway there. Okay. Flight engine mode selector. Engine mode selector. Oh, they want this one.
Set normal as where required.
That's weird.
It is not okay, sir. It is not set off. Course of APU bleed.
Alright.
Set off. Course of APU bleed. Checklist below the line completed.
Huh, there you go. I always thought you took off with the igniters running. after takeoff checklist is our next one, so we're ready to go.
Approaching 3, 2.
We're going to go right to the end here before we
Approaching
turn.
runways.
I want as much runway as we can get, just in case. And we're going to do a rolling start here. I'm that confident.
On runway 3, 5.
All right, bring her up halfway about. Stabilize, everything's coming up good. Yep, good. And flex is set.
Power set.
Knots. 100 knots, taking off.
V1. Rotate.
Rotating. Positive rate, gears coming up.
Gear up.
Alright, nose down a bit, get some speed. Start bringing those flaps up.
Speed check. Flaps 1. Speed check. Flaps 0.
1,000.
Gotta start bringing that nose up soon there, flight director. There it goes. There it goes. Way up now. Way up. Alright, let's get that autopilot going.
Autopilot 1. Cross check.
Alright, let's do our after takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. Retracted. Packs. It is not okay, sir. It is not on.
Okay, we can turn the packs on.
Packs on. Checklist down to the line completed. If you're ready to continue below the line, click it again. Barrow reference. It is not okay, sir. It is not
Yeah.
standard Barrow.
Yeah, we don't want to go standard barrow yet, so that's fine. Standard barometer. Barrow. Alright, let's set our climb thrust. Okay, 10,000 feet. Let's turn off the runway lights, which are already off because we didn't turn them on and the checklist never told us to. So that's the last time I'm relying on the checklists. Fair enough. I'll turn off the APU now. Don't need it. I want to check the fuel. We may not need the center pumps. Fuel. Yeah, we're pretty much using the wings here, so we'll turn off the center pumps. There we go. That's fine. All right. We are climbing. Climbing well. Over some hills. Let's take a look outside. Airport's behind us. We'll turn down the engines. There we go. Got some airport behind us. We got some, looks like some flats or something down here. Lots of mountains. A little bit of haze though. Yeah. Well, I see why they do the departure they do. Oh, we're in the clouds now. Got to make it over top of those mountains. So you got to get a little altitude before you cross over those guys. Looks pretty though. All right. Wow, look at that mountain. Look at that thing. The only time I've ever flew personally into Salt Lake City in real life was back in the late 80s when I was living in northern Alberta, and I went to Los Angeles for a few days, and we ended up doing a stopover in Salt Lake City, and it's the only time I've ever been there, and I don't recall ever flying out of there either. So that's like in flight sim, so that's pretty cool. There's that mountain. Looks like we cleared it quite well, so that's good. I have no idea what that thing is off in the distance there. It's pretty cool. I guess we'll find out because we should be heading over that direction. We're gonna do a little bit of a loop-de-loop there to head over that way. Yeah, we'll be going over this way and then zipping up that way, so we should get closer to it and see what the heck it is. Hope it's not a graphical or some kind of glitch, because it must be, because look at the size of that thing, whatever it is. Weird. Look at the ground here, even for default XPlane. You know what? This may be ortho here. I may have loaded the ortho around. I know I ran around and did a bunch of the orthos for all the Mr. X scenery. So this may be ortho that we're looking at. Although it shouldn't be going out that far. Well, you never know. Maybe it does. All right, let's get back in the cockpit and see where we're at. Okay, we passed 18,000 feet, so we can go standard. And we can finish off. Cool. You just finished it for me. All right, next one's the approach checklist, so that's good. We're at 20,000 feet, and what? Oh, I was wondering what that circle was. It's a reflection on on the glass for this thing. I'm like, what the heck is that big circle doing down there? Sit up a little bit in our seats here. Take a look at the scenery. Holy crap, those are nice looking mountains. I should have done ortho for Denver. Oh well. Look at this. Look at these clouds. Should be an update to X Enviro coming out shortly, and it'll improve all these clouds and stuff. But I'll tell you, it's looking real good right now. Real good. Look at the ground out there. Just gorgeous. What is that thing sticking up over there? We're heading almost directly for it, so we're going to find out. It's freaking huge. Just a big thing sticking up. Look at that. That's got to be some kind of bug. That doesn't. Somebody tell me in chat or in the messages. Is that real? What the hell is that? That's got to be some kind of elevation bug. It's like a giant dick coming out of the mountains. Wow, that is weird. I don't see anything else even remotely close to its height. Huh. Totally strange. Totally strange. All right, before I start yakking about flight sim versus X-plane, etc., I just want to take a look at our flight plan and see when we have some restrictions or anything we have to deal with. Okay, we're coming up on top of climb. That's going to be 35,000 feet. And after descent, it's not very far before we hit our first restriction, 28,000. Then we have one at 25. Next one's at 17, then 14.7, 14,000, 11,000. Then we have on the approach, we have an 8,000, a 7,000, and 5,400 is 5,400 feet is our elevation for when we land. That's crazy. Wow, I like it. It's the first time for everything. Swear to God, guys, next I'm gonna go start flying in Europe shortly here. I just need to do some research first and figure out how that's gonna happen because I really want to fly the funky approach in Zurich there, Switzerland or whatever that is, the one between the mountains. It's pretty cool. All right, doing well. We're at almost 28,000 feet on up to our cruise altitude. There's that weird thing that we're coming up on. That can't be real. Can't be. Huh. Weird. All right, let's talk about this. For years and years and years, I started flying flight sim back in, oh God, what was my first flight sim? The Commodore 64 in the 80s. Had Chuck Yeager had a flight sim. Did a lot of jet flying back then because I grew up on Air Force bases and there was a lot of Air Force jets and whatnot flying around, and I was kind of into those. So I did a lot of that. I did try the early flight sims, but I found them kind of boring. Um, and the scenery wasn't great. It was basically lines. They did draw some buildings on occasion, but they were just kind of two-dimensional representations of whatever you were looking at. Um, Gosh, what was my first flight sim that I seriously got into? Probably FS5 and 5.1, if I remember correctly, before the days of 3D even. Uh, Then FS98 came out, loved it. It was true 3D. And if you had a decent 3D video card, which not too many people did at the time, it performed well. It performed a lot better and looked a lot better. And you'll get a lot more frames and whatnot. Because back then, not too many people had actual video cards. Well, outside the standard ones that weren't 3D. Everybody had some kind of video card at the time, but nothing that would accelerate a game too much. Um, so then, of course, FS98, FS2000, 2004. FS 2004 was a mainstay of mine for a long time because of performance. Even after FSX came out, it looked really pretty, but the performance was crap, and our computers just couldn't keep up with it. So then I switched to FSX, flew that for a long time. P3D, of course, came out, flew that. Uh, I haven't flown it recently. I did briefly try out P3D version 4. It looked really good. Honestly, it looks maybe a tad better than FSX. But of course, FSX, it's strengthened by uh, its add-ons, right? Has more to do with add-ons than it does. Where's that thing that was sticking out? There it is. I just flew over it. Weird. FSX add-ons. That's where it's at. That's its major strength. There's been a lot of money put into add-ons. There's a lot of companies making add-ons for FSX and P3D. It's You can do a lot of stuff. The weather engines are amazing. The scenery is amazing. Some of the aircraft they have is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Now, why am I in XPlane if I'm gushing about flight sim and FSX so much? And generally, it's because it's physics. XPlane has some amazing physics. It uses, I believe it's called blade theory, where it slices the aircraft up into pieces and calculates how the air is going to go around it and how it's going to affect lift and whatnot and drag and all that. And it actually calculates all that. Whereas Flight Simulator tends to just have tends to just have it's basically a table. A plane flying at a certain altitude with certain engines and a certain power at a certain angle of attack will go, it'll accelerate or what it should, it'll figure out what it should be doing given all those parameters, and it'll basically put it into a table and say, okay, now the plane should be slowing down or it should be speeding up. And as a result, and they have kind of, there's a lot of planes and flights, FSX that and P3D that will use an external model for the flight model. So they've done a lot of improvements on that system, but they're all relatively the same. And I don't know if you noticed, but if you've ever flown XPlane and then you've flown FSX, it feels like you're flying on a wire. And what I mean by that, not by wire, but on a wire, uh, it's perfect. You pull back on a jet when you're taking off from a runway, and I don't care what kind of wind you have. For the most part, you're going straight up. There's not a lot of variation. There's no gusting. There's no blowing you around. It's not really. It's not real. And am I a real world pilot? No, I don't have a license. But uh, I have flown Cessnas and Katanas. Um, Flown in a lot of helicopters. I've flown gliders. Um, so I know what it feels like and what it's like to actually fly a plane. And I'll tell you, flight sim isn't it. It does a great job of simulating the environment. It does a great job of simulating systems on aircraft. It does a great job of representing all of that with beautiful graphics. Although even those are starting to get dated, and you pretty much have to buy a lot of add-ons. Everything from your aircraft to your scenery um, to your weather engines, clouds, trees, you name it, and you got to pay for it all. Uh, General scenery gets improved based on some of the auto gen and and you can get better. Uh, I think it's elevation data and basically modeling the Earth. You can get improvements on that kind of thing, so it looks really good. But it just doesn't act real good. And another issue I have with all of that is all of that stuff costs money. Now let's take XPlane. The engine is better in that the flight models are calculated. Wind is taken into consideration. Variations in wind is taken into consideration. You pull back after on your takeoff roll in X-plane, and you gotta manage that, and you have to fight the gusts, and you have to try and keep the wings level, and the planes just act more like a plane should. Um, and that shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody because everybody's heard that about X-plane. And the problem in the past with X-plane was that they didn't have all those add-ons. They didn't have the high fidelity system simulations in the airliners. They didn't have a lot of that money thrown at it from third parties and quality add-ons. They have those now. So as you can see, this Airbus is uh, it's a great plane. It would be a great plane even if it was an FSX. Um, they have quite a few. There's a great 737 IXEG. JAR makes the 320. I believe they make the 330 as well. There's Flight Factors making the Boeings. They're making they made the 767, 757. I'm not sure who makes the 777, but the 767 from Flight Factor apparently is one. From what I hear, I don't have it yet, but apparently it's one of the best airplanes you can get in X-plane, and it's awesome. I flew the first version of their 757 and I loved it because it was one of the first ones that I could get at that actually had a lot of the systems, at least simulated semi properly. Um, so yeah, it was awesome. Flight Factor is also coming out with a new Airbus, an A320. and they're also coming out with an expansion pack that I heard today that it will have the 319, the 321, stuff like that. So really looking forward to that. And it's supposed to be designed. Now this is all marketing at this point because I don't know and I haven't seen it. I've seen some videos and it looks really nice. But supposedly they built it to train actual pilots. So that's pretty cool. And we'll see how good it is. Um, so in theory, from what I hear, maybe um, the Flight Factor A320 could be one of the highest fidelity aircraft that exists on any home flight simulator. So, uh, X-Plane's come a long way with the aircraft. Now let's talk about scenery. Um, One of the most, you could go crazy in either sim and spend and spend and spend. And, it's one of the most expensive things in the long run. Um, because there's so many airports out there and you never want to fly to the same place over and over again. Well, some people do, but uh, we all have our favorite flights, but you want to travel around and check out the sites and go to different airports and fly different approaches and stuff like that. So uh, it's could quickly become the most expensive part of a simulator, in my opinion. Um, if you buy an aircraft, you're going to fly the crap out of it. And you're going to see it all the time. If you buy an environment or a weather pack, like I have X Enviro in here. There's also SkyMax Pro. So you buy that, but you use it every flight. So it's worth it. You buy some really kick-ass scenery for some airport somewhere. How often are you going to see it? Only when you fly to it or from it. Or over it. Like it's just it's not best bang for your buck. And in FSX and prepared, you got to buy all that stuff. There's some free stuff, but it's not very good. XPlane has a lot of really really good free airports, and even more important, in between those airports, you can get orthographic imagery. So let's look out the window, see if I still have ortho. No, that looks like stock X-plane down there, which still looks very good. And compared to stock FSX, I think it looks better. But if you get the ortho, as you saw on takeoff, when I believe I did have ortho, it looked amazing. It looked like you were flying over the real ground. I had a buddy over here the other day, and he was flying with me, and he's like, let's go from Charlottetown to Halifax, and that's a flight I do all the time because I live in Charlottetown, and I did, and we're flying, taking off the runway, and he's like, holy crap, there's the bridge, holy crap, there's my house, it's VFR, and it was free, absolutely free. I could, if I had a big enough hard drive, download the entire Earth of actual real ortho scenery. And it's great and it's free. Even the autogen, I think there's something called World something or other, and basically the autogen. You can get real good high quality autogen, and it's free. You just have to run some programs, follow some tutorials, and boom, you get it. It's done. It's awesome. So, yeah, that is a really, really good part about X-Plane. So you put together the fact that you buy yourself a couple of really good aircraft, you buy yourself a good weather engine, and the rest of it could potentially be free. Even the ortho, you could ortho up an actual airport, not just the scenery in between. You could, and I know I did with Charlottetown and Halifax because they just didn't have any good scenery for those places. But the orthos seem to do a decent job. It's not perfect. Doesn't look exactly like what's going on, but it's pretty damn close. And for the amount of time I spend sitting at an airport, actually looking around the airport, basically when I'm taxiing or taking off, it looked fine to me. It looked great. And a lot of people are starting to look at X-Plane and think that it's they're taking it a lot more seriously than they used to. So that's why I'm using X-Plane right now. I've been tempted in the past, back in version 10 of XPlane. I did buy it, and I liked it. I liked the way it flew, but the rest of it, I'm an airliner guy. I love flying airliners, and I just couldn't get anything decent except for the 757, and I can't do my short flights that everybody knows I like to do because sitting here flying along like we're doing right now is a little boring, and I have to go off topic and find some other discussion point and see if we can pass the time until it's time to do an approach and a landing, right? So, oh, my spoilers are still armed. I just noticed that there, so we don't need that anymore. There we go. TCAS. Didn't turn that on. I'm neglecting my duties here. Holy cow, brake fans. There we go. And the no smoking one is the only one on now. Okay, we're good. So, um, really, guys, a lot of people say, like, well, which one should I go for? Well, I mean, if you're starting out new, I'd go with XPlane. If you've heavily invested in FSX, then stay there for a while. You know, let's talk about some of the new guys. DCS World is amazing, but it seems to me, and I could be wrong, I haven't gotten too far into it, but it seemed like almost every aircraft was almost study level. Uh, I could be wrong there. I'm sure some of them are dumbed down, but uh, I don't need to spend hours and hours and hours learning how to fly a fighter jet. I just don't. Um, not, yeah, I'm sure it's fine, and I'm sure I'm missing out on some great multiplayer stuff in there. But it's fine. I just haven't really got into it too much. I did fly a little bit with VR in there. I haven't done VR in XPlane yet. They do have a really good third-party VR um, uh, add-on that you can use with XPlane to use in VR. But if XPlane themselves are working on putting it into the sim itself, so I'm just going to wait until that happens. I also find that the current generation of headsets is not very clear. So it's just not the pixel density just isn't good enough, so you have a hard time reading stuff. So like if I'm sitting in the cockpit, I wouldn't be able to see that my ground speed's 508 without actually zooming, like leaning way in and reading it. So um, I think maybe we're just going to wait for that one for a little bit. We'll see. All right, back to flight sim. So that's DCS World. Lots of actual fighter jets and that kind of thing from many, many time periods. And the airplanes in there, you have to buy them too, so it's not cheap. The platform itself is free, but as we know, the platforms on these things are never the high cost item. X-Plane's like what, 50, $60 or something like that. FSX is like, I don't know, I think I bought the Steam edition for like 10 or something. I used to work for Microsoft, so I had many copies of the DVDs of FSX. Um, yeah, so the platforms are never the expensive part. So it being free is great, but you still have to buy some aircraft that are decent and learn them because they're pretty in depth. Um, let's talk about Flight Sim World. Flight Sim World has come out. It Dovetail, the guys that brought out the Steam edition of FSX, or have come out with a early, what do they call it? Early whatever version on Steam of Flight Sim World, where they've taken the ESP platform, which is what FSX is based on, and P3D, and they've worked on it, and they've put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and they continue to do so, and it looks really nice. The weather in it looks great. But my problem right now, you can probably guess, I'm an airliner guy, not a single airliner in there. It's all just GA stuff, general aviation, the little aircraft. So I'm just not into it. We'll see how it goes. And their model that they're planning to use to have people build stuff and sell stuff for that is sketchy at the moment. The developers may have to give Dovetail a cut. I don't know. There's all sorts of stuff on they haven't really fleshed that out too well yet. So, but it's looking real good. But again, it's based on tables. The flight models, they do seem improved. They do seem to have some variation, some floating around, some weather. The weather looks great in it, but it's still kind of fly on wire, not fly by wire, but fly on wire kind of ish. So we'll see how that goes. In my opinion, X-Plane's just the future. You know, they're 64-bit. They've been working on this stuff for years and years and years, and they're starting to get a lot of traction with third-party developers that make some high-quality add-ons at a semi-reasonable price. The A320 from Flight Factor is supposed to be very expensive, but it's also ridiculous. It's Roger's birthday. Happy birthday, Roger! And you're spending it watching me fly and talk about different flight sims. That's awesome. Happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday. Are you an old guy now or what? Awesome. Thanks for coming over and hanging out with me, man. That's awesome. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about for flight sim and all that kind of stuff, and flight sim versus X-Plane. But that's why now you guys know why I'm doing X-Plane. It's finally, in my mind, it's finally arrived as a platform that I can get behind. So, yeah, that seems reasonable for me. Roger, man, are you 11 years old, man? Holy cow, that's super young. That's awesome. That is awesome. My only advice to an 11-year-old on his birthday is have some fun, man. Don't worry about your future, and just go to school, learn lots, and figure out what you want to do. Spend the next 5 to 7 years of your life figuring out what you want to do for a living, and don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Otherwise, I'd probably be flying airliners myself right now instead of just sitting in my basement flying airliners on a computer that I program on, because that's what I do for a living. I'm a software guy. So I write software, and I would rather be flying planes and writing software in my spare time for fun. So figure out what you want to do and go and do it, man. Do it. But happy birthday again, Roger. That's awesome. That's awesome. You obviously don't live in my time zone, or you'd be in bed by now. It's 12:30 here, man. I took my wife out on the motorbike for a ride tonight into Summerside and back, and I got back and I said I just gotta fly. I just gotta fly. I just gotta do a flight. And we are coming up on top of descent here. So I got to remind myself what we got to do next. Top of descent, and then a French at 284. So let's dial that in just for fun. 284. Now, I was watching another stream, 104th Night today, and he was flying the Airbus, and I always have an issue where it doesn't follow the flight director, it doesn't follow the flight, the descent path that it calculates. I'm always down way too fast, way too early. And he said basically you're just setting it on, you're just letting your autopilot handle stuff, and you're just telling it when to go down to whatever altitude you select, which is, as far as I'm concerned, exactly what I'm doing. So if anybody has an idea of what you can do, or what I'm doing wrong on the descent, that would be awesome. It works, I'm going down in steps, of course, so it ends up being about the same anyway, but it would be awesome if somebody could tell me why that's doing what it's doing, and we'll see if it does it again. All right, so here comes the magenta line, and as soon as it hits our center, we're going to hit this button. There we go. The engines will spool down and we will start our descent. I'm not even going to put any, unless it asks for it, I'm not going to put any spoilers on, and we're still going to drop down faster. Watch, here comes the magenta. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Boom. So, we're going down way too fast. And I'm not sure why. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. I feel like I should be playing with this vertical speed, but I don't want to do that. I want the plane to manage that for me. Wow, it's getting dark. Let's turn some lights on in here. Holy cow. There we go. You can see a little better now. All right, after French, we're going to be going down to 257 at Scarf. 25,700 feet. And it's getting dark. So we will be looking at darkness when we come in. I don't see too many mountains. I thought we were in Colorado. I guess we'll find out. Got a bunch of lights on out there still, but we'll leave it. That's fine. All right, we are at our altitude that we need to cross at French. 25.7 is the next one. And we'll wait till we cross French so we don't break that altitude restriction. Just trying to take a look and see if there's anything obvious that I'm missing. I may have to read the manual on that one, because we are definitely dropping way too fast. If you look at our progress, see, we're way below. Our vertical deviation from our flight plan, our descent path, is way off, and it's slowly catching up because we're not descending anymore. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. And I believe we're crossing French. We have. So we'll continue. All right, oops, wrong one. There goes our magenta line. So we're above the path right now. So let's see what happens. Look at that, we're gonna fly right past it. And it's not, what am I missing? We have no spoilers. We have no gear, we have no flaps. Don't really understand. Oh well, I'll do some reading and figure it out. What do you suppose that button does? Heading track and vertical speed FPA. I am not going to toy with it at this point. All right, we are going to cross Scarf shortly, and then we're going to go down to 220. Dial that in ahead of time. 220. And we'll wait. Oh, we're past Scarf. We might as well start. Wow, the clouds look yellow. They look angry. Angry clouds. It's because of the sun setting behind us there. See? Check it out. Pretty cool. How we doing? We're descending well. Our next point after Thompson is Dork. Dorky. Dorky. That's 17,000 feet. So once we hit Thompson, we'll go to Dorky at 17,000 feet. All right, Dorky it is at 17,000. Didn't quite make 22,000 at Thompson, even though we are perpetually below our flight path, although we're not at the moment, but I bet we're catching up. See? Go to the progress. Yeah, look, we're catching up. We're going to pass it right there. After Dorky, we're going to hit Archie at 14,700. Did I see lightning? Whoa. I think I saw lightning. Uh-oh. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we're still on target for Dorky at 17,000. We can be above it. We just can't be below it. And we're coming up on our approach as well. So Denver is probably one of these airports up here. Could be that one, and we come around and come back at it. If you take a look at our flight plan, flight path, we're going to come up our airport somewhere around here, and we're going to go up all the way and come back at the airport. And that part there is our go around alternative. All right, let's see how we're doing. Dorky at 17, we just got there, so 14.7. 14.7 is our next restriction. And then after that, it's 14,000 even. That'll be easy. That's assuming we actually get down. The last flight I did, it was a similarly stepped approach, altitude step, by the way. But it was similar to this, where you have to take it down in little bits and pieces. and I was following it fine, and then all of a sudden I couldn't get low enough, fast enough. I was using all sorts of means to get myself down faster, and I could not do it. And that was coming into Phoenix. So it doesn't look like we're going to have that problem here, but you never know. Boy, that's going to be a sharp turn up there. Didn't look that sharp when we were planning it. Let me take a peek at our sim brief. Yeah, that's what they have. They have that exact V kind of thing in there. So yeah, that's what it is. All right, we were at 14,000 something, and we're going to be coming up on Archie, and then we're already there, so we're good. And we're way below our planned descent path. So starting to see some city lights. There's a nice highway. Got some city streets coming in. Got a little fog. A bit of fog. So I may not have seen lightning. That may have been just going through some haze and seeing our lights flash like that. So coming up on Archie. Coming up on Archie, then we're at 14,000. Whoa, sorry. Okay, 14,000. After Baba, we're going to go to High Mom at 11,000 feet. That's going to be one heck of a turn at the end of this V. I can't believe they actually do that. But that's the approach. We'll probably have to swing out and kind of curl back at it. That's my guess. So our airport looks like it's right there, but in our FMC or our PFD, well, we'll find out. Maybe that's it there. I thought it was back here. That looks like a pretty decent sized airport there. I don't see too much beyond it, so yeah, we'll find out. We will find out. All right. Hi, Mom at 11,000. So let's drop down and do that now. Denver. Very cool. I don't see a lot of mountains. Huh. I'll have to come back in the daytime. We'll do another flight into here. All right. Now it looks like we're above our flight path. All right, let's select that mode and let's see what our arrival airport is. 2984. 2984. Okay. Right where we're supposed to be. And our next one is 8,000. So we'll drop all the way down to 8,000 on this guy. Probably get there way too fast. That's all right. Wow, that ground looks really close. Really, really close. That doesn't look like 2,000 feet down to me. It must be. It must be because we haven't heard the 2500 call out yet either. So must have hit our decel point, did we? Look at that. And we're going to stop descending for a little bit. This is where it gets me every time. Every time. Our final is 54.34. So, no, we didn't hit our decel yet. It's just doing that. That's all right. We'll take our time. Look at the city lights. You can see I love that, the dots for the lights, and then there's like light below that, like how it's reflecting off the ground. XPlane does a great job of night lighting. Great job. Look at that highway with the lights on the highway. Look at that. See? The little dots and the glow of the light hitting the ground. It's awesome. Oh, look at that. We have rain. We have rain. Let's turn on the wipers. Doesn't help a whole lot, but whatever. All right. So we're going to be coming up on Waskell, and then FM Waskell at about 10,000 feet, supposedly. Doesn't look like we're already below that, so it's not a restriction though. So we can be below if we want. Yeah. All right, we're doing okay. We'll see how the autopilot manages this. Oh, there's our radar altimeter just popped in. We're at about 2,200 feet above the ground right now, and we're coming up on our 8,000, so that's fine. That's fine, no problem at all. Now the plane should do a ridiculous left turn here. Should do an absolutely ridiculous left turn. Let's see how it handles this, because that's about the sharpest turn I've seen in an approach ever. That was actually part of the approach. It's not, we didn't miss any transitions or anything, or any vias. We were already into the approach when that was going on. So while we're at it, let's just do something here. Progress looks good. We're still technically on our descent. QNH for this is 29829.84. The winds, we'll just say 020. I don't know how to put these in exactly. 020 at 08. Is that how it's? Oh, I need a slash in there. /08. Temperature. I have no idea. I can't remember which one's the temperature. Probably 19. We'll just say 19. Hopefully that's Celsius. I don't see anything that looks Fahrenheit-ish. How are we doing on this turn? Pretty good. Pretty good. And we're still below our flight path. That's perfect. We're doing fine. Just fine. Okay, the next one is Mervyn at 8,000, and we're already there, so we're doing okay. Wow, they have a lot of freaking runways and airports and stuff in Denver. Look at that. There's one over here. There's one there. There's one up there. One over there. Looks like there's another one over there. Holy crap. Radio altimeter alive. Yeah, no kidding. It's been on for a bit there, buddy. All right. Below 10,000. Let's turn on some lights this time, shall we? There we go. Okay. That's all good. I might as well turn the other wiper on as well. How far are we out from landing here? Holy crap, we're really close. Really close. The ILS is on and we're 20 miles out. Supposedly. I want to see where Mervyn is though. Wow, what the heck is going on here? Oh, okay, no, that's right. We're good. I want to see a little closer though. How far we got to Mervyn? And Jetson's 3, and then 5 to there. So we should be, where's Mervyn? What? We're landing on 16 right. We're gonna have to do another ridiculous turn. That makes no sense. We're gonna go up here and do a ridiculous, another ridiculous big turn and come back. That can't be right. Huh. Like, we came in this way. Huh. What a weird approach. We did it right, guys. I know we did. I know it. Unless there's something wrong with the air axe. And I think I have the latest one in there. Maybe not. When does this month come out? Shortly anyway. But yeah, it's not going to change that much. Yeah, we got quite a little hike at the speed we're going to get up there and then do a ridiculous turn. Again, another ridiculous turn. There's no way we're going to be able to line up. Well, it looks like it's a good 10 miles, but yeah, we're going to use 5 of it just getting back on course, at least, maybe 10. Might have to verify that this is that we did the right thing here at some point. Oh, that's not Mervyn, it's Marin. Marin. Which supposedly was like 1 nautical mile from our speed 220. Doesn't look like it. Huh. That is the strangest approach ever, and it's taking a long time. I wish I'd set the chrono before we took off, because I'd like to see how long this is taking us. Well, just enjoy the city lights, because we're gonna be looking at them for a while yet. I think this is our airport. We're going to go all the way past it and then do a right turn and try and come back on it. Wow. Crazy. That's why our ILS was all messed up. We're like way off. Well, I'll tell you one thing, before we make that turn, we're going to be going real slow. Real slow, so we can make the tightest turn we can. On a Boeing, I'd be cranking up the bank angle, but I don't think you can do that on an Airbus. At least not this one. Crazy. Might as well turn, get ready for the approach. No, not yet. I guess it's waiting for that. Let's do our approach checklist. And I guess we better tell the folks to sit down. I can't set it. All right, medium. Turn on the brake fan. All right. Next one's the landing. Might as well do that. We're not ready for that yet. We're still doing the approach. Let's see. From the runway, it's looking like it's going to be about 10 miles to Marin. And then we got to do that ridiculous turn. It's going to take us way out here. And hopefully it brings us right back at Jetson. There's our airport. All of our lights are on. Yeah, I guess they are. Might as well get the APU going. This guy's set. We'll start doing flaps shortly. So we can get our speed down enough to do a tight turn if we can. That's interesting. What's that guy? K18V. Huh. Fair enough. I wonder how much extra gas we're burning here. Yeah, we got lots of gas left. 3,300 kilograms worth. It's like if this is the right way to do it, this is the worst approach ever. And it's not like we had a choice. Turn on the foot warmer, baby. Oh, you can switch the PFD and the ND. That's cool. Yeah. Way back there. All right, we're about 4 miles out, so I'm going to start dropping some flaps. We're going to get real slow for this turn. Real slow. Oh, we're back in the Back in the good stuff, the rain, the decent rain. Not a big fan of those streaks. Yeah, they look like worms. Sorry, I've been ignoring the chat. Oh, just Roger. That's all right. Roger's birthday today. Happy birthday, Roger. He joins on so many of these flights that I do. It's good to see him. All right, here we go. See how fast we can make this turn. Turn, baby, turn. Yeah, we're slow enough. It looks like it'll be tight. It'll be tight enough, hopefully. We're 10 feet, or 10 miles from the approach, or from the landing, so we'll leave the landing gear up for now. We do have to drop some altitude, though. We have to go to 7,000, so we might as well do that. There we go. And turn on the ILS. We are a bit high. What a weird approach. There must be mountains around here, and it's just bringing us down inside the mountains. That must be what it is. All right, we're about 6 miles. Gear down. So, guys, if people that are watching, if you don't mind, hitting the like button and the subscribe button. That would really help me out and let you guys know whenever I'm flying if you want to come and check it out. Oh, geez, we got to go into approach mode. Get down, man, get down. Yeah, I missed that. It was a little bit late. Oh well. This guy will drop. I'm gonna use some spoilers. Yeah, we're way off. All right, we're gonna do this manually. Autopilot is off, so we're gonna bank over here. It's not too bad. And we're gonna lose a little bit of altitude at the same time. More flaps. I'd say a little bit of a tailwind. That's not good. I think my planning software screwed me on this one, unless they just had a recent change in wind direction. All right, a little high. There we go, back on track. Not too bad, not too bad. Oh, little fast. Little fast. Yeah, that was terrible. That's all right. Reversing. Yeah, that was a terrible landing. Had some strange engine stuff happening at the end there too. It's almost like the plane didn't know we were landing. Oh well. 70 knots, manual braking. And it looks like our exit's up there, so we're going to coast a little bit. Yeah, they got some long runways here, which is awesome at this altitude. Yeah. Hear the cheers from the back. That's awesome. All right, we are off the runway. So we'll come up here to the line. All right, hang out here for a second. And let's see, turn on our APU bleed. Turn off our landing lights and our runway turn-off lights. Don't need the brakes or the brake fans. Well, I'll leave the brake fans on for a little bit. Spoilers are not armed anymore, and bring up our flaps. All right, let's figure out where we're supposed to be going here. Where's the parking area? I'm guessing it's right in front of us, but how do we get there? Yeah, so we're just going to go straight across here, over to that one, turn left, and we'll take it straight in there, and we'll park over here. Air Canada doesn't fly too much in here, so I don't care where they park. Which one was it? Yeah, okay. We're good. Looks like the rain stopped. We can probably turn off the wipers. Welcome to Denver, everybody. I forgot to tell you. First time landing in Denver. First time. Wish it was during the day. Let's see what the heck's going on. See why they made us do that weird approach. All right. Let's make sure make sure nobody's coming in. They won't be. I'm not doing multiplayer. Just to make it official. We looked. Yeah, I know. I speed a little bit on taxiways. I just find that part a little boring. That's all right. We're not speeding too much. All right, let's take a peek and see if we can find a free spot. The first two are free. We'll go to the second one. Right there. Oh, we're parking right next to United. That probably makes sense. Star Alliance. We have no marshaller again. So we're gonna have to go outside and stop where it makes sense. That makes sense right there. Parking brake is on. And the APU bleeds on so we can kill the engines. And let the people up. There we go. Guys, I'm not going to do a replay on that landing because it was brutal. I think we did the approach right, but I'm going to have to do some research on that too. So get some of these lights off. We don't need them anymore. We're all shut down. Turn off the probe heaters and the window heat. No auto gates here. I know some of them have auto gates, but yeah, apparently not this one. So we will open up the doors. Might as well do both sides, front and back. And we'll bring in some stairs. What the hell? Learned my lesson. Last time we landed, I brought the stairs in, then I did a replay. And the replay had the trucks flying with me attached to the side of the plane. It's kind of funny. All right, guys. That is all I am going to do tonight. It was just a quick late night flight. And thanks for joining me. Happy birthday to my buddy Roger. Have a good one. Hope you had a great day, and I hope you have a great weekend. And we'll see everybody soon for another great flight in XPlane.